Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you all will have a great week. Let me just adjust this a little bit. Just wanted to drop in for a few minutes and just once again thank everybody for helping us keep the David Crowley case alive and well. Appreciate all of you, all of your help, all of your encouragement and your support. Most of all, your research and your contributions to the truth. Hey there, good morning. So, two important things this week. On Wednesday, I will be on, and I think Dan Hennon is going to join us too, this Wednesday on Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. It is a podcast from Eric Spitfire Wilkinson. So I'll be on for the first hour. I'm not sure how long Dan Hennon is going to stay on, but I'll have those links. I'll post the links in the description later on, as soon as I can get to a place where I can do that. But I wanted to just let everybody know about that. So this Wednesday, we'll be back on Eric Spitfire's his weekly podcast. And then Friday will be the day, January 17th, 2020. It'll be 5 years since the bodies of David Crowley, his wife, and his daughter, what was left of the bodies, 5 years since those bodies were found. So we're gonna do a special show this Friday night, and I hope that all of you can join us there. If you'd like to join in the actual call, hey Bugs, good morning. And I think there's somebody else here. Hey Ellie, good morning. Let's see if everybody can still hear me or not. If you would like to join in the call, please let me know and I will make sure that I send you the actual link so that you can join in. If you would just like to join, like here in the live chat room, you can also do that too, and we'll try to make the chat room as interactive as possible as well. So we'll have that for people who can just join in our chat room but can't necessarily call in. And we're still looking for some more topics. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about, a lot of interesting things, but I'm assuming we should do some type of a recap and have somebody kind of read off maybe a little summary of the story of the case. I'm not sure, something like that to kind of get us going, but I know Bugs is going to help with that. So I'm looking forward to it, and the frustration, I guess, is kind of subsiding with me, but then a different type of frustration is now setting in because I have once again been editing the book. I'm just gonna pour myself a little coffee here while I wait at this light. So I've been back editing, one more round of edit. This should be it. Cover photo might be done by Friday, I'm hoping, and then once the cover photo is done, it's just finishing this last proof and just saying, okay, it's time, let's go to it, and then the book will be published. As soon as it's published on lulu.com, then I will make a PDF version that people can just download. So if you just want to download the document and just read it, you'll have the free PDF version for that too. If you'd like to purchase a copy, you'll be able to do that on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, on directly from lulu.com. That's probably the best, the best place to order it. So, and then, I don't know, we'll figure out some other thing for some signed copies if people want some signed copies for any reason. But I'm curious to see what the cover of the book looks like. I'm getting very anxious about that, and I'm excited about the book. Every time I go back, I keep finding things, and I have to keep going back and rereading it until I stop finding stuff that needs to be edited or changed. And these are very small things. There are a few people out there that do have some advanced copies that did get passed around to some people to try to get involved in this case. So I was like, maybe I should have waited or this or that. But what I gave them was basically, if they're just looking at it for research purposes, it should be fine. I don't think it'll bug them too much. But if they're looking at it for grammar errors, stuff like that. There might be a few commas missing here, and a few sentences that might be tweaked, even a few that might be taken out. So, and that's the other thing. One of the ideas, I guess, for Friday is I do have about 20 pages of what I think is still valuable information about this case, but it just didn't really fit into the book. So I figure, well, maybe we can read some of that too. But if anybody has any ideas of what we should cover, what we should talk about, I know one of the things was the paranormal stuff, which I do think needs to be its own show. I think we have enough for its own show there. All information is important, Ellie says. That's true. It is. So, I still want to make sure that the information that was taken out of the book is still put in somewhere. I was tempted. I had dipped my feet in the water about a second book on the Crowley case, and I think just right now that's not the goal. I wouldn't mind other people making a book on this case, or if at some point we can have maybe a collaboration of people in the group that all just kind of gave their own views. Maybe every group member has their own chapter or something like that. I'd be willing to help out with that too. So we have options. I did talk to Mario, who is making the conspiracy code, and I wanted to give everybody a little update on that as well. He's alive, he's well, he's fine. Don't really want to say too much more on that now, but only other thing is that I do hope that he goes forward with something. It sounds like he has a lot of footage. I wonder if he has enough footage to basically make a little short film, throw in some different things. So I'm curious to see if he can make that happen. We'll see what goes on, but it sounded like he was a little frustrated with the progress of his film. So I want to encourage him to just keep on, put something out there, because it might reach the right person who might say, hey, I can make this into a movie. I can make this into a full-length film. Make a little prequel, 5-10 minute prequel of just the main characters, or just some characters involved in it. I don't know. Whatever the purpose of the conspiracy code, whatever the conspiracy code is, something that you could still get actors, A-list actors later on to play in this without having to go through some of the stuff David Crowley had to go through with Danny Mason, as far as rights and getting people to sign away their rights. And you have this main character, John Wink, or Wink, whatever Danny Mason's main character's name was. I just found it funny. It's a little phallic humor, I guess. I don't know what it is, but whatever. So good to hear from Mario. Glad that he's doing better. Had a lot of people concerned about him, so, and I'd like to get Mario back on at some point too. I think that would be another great show as well. So hopefully, I would like to have Christian Coffins join us. I'd like to have everybody join us. I would love to get as many people to join us this Friday as possible, even if it's just for a couple minutes. Even if it's just like, hey, I can join from 8 to 8:15. Okay, then I'll carve out some time and make sure that during that time that's your time. That whatever we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Now, I have no problem putting together a schedule of saying, okay, at this time this person wants to talk, at this time this person wants to talk, but we usually just kind of free form it, because I don't get the responses back of people saying, hey, I'd like to have this time, I need 15 minutes, hey, can we spend 20 minutes on this, something like that, anything. So if anybody ever wants to send me some information about what you would like to, I would love that. So freestyle is best. Yeah, freestyle is probably best. And that's, we went, what, Buzz? We went like 4 hours the other day, or last week, free forming it just with nothing. And I was like, did we really go? I had to go back and check. I was like, did we really go 4 hours? What the heck? What did we talk about for 4 hours? But we did. And so obviously we have no problem doing that. My other YouTube channel, the Gray Stage YouTube channel, is getting a little lonely there. So Friday I might even simulcast. I know I did a trimulcast, which was pretty cool. I've never done that before, but those were 2 videos that were uploaded to the YouTube channel and then 1 live stream. So this time I might stream on the Gray Stage YouTube channel as well, and then stream here on my main channel, Friday show. So I don't know if I should or what, but I might do that just for the fun of it. I don't know, just for whatever, just because we need to reach as many people as we can. If anybody ever wants to take any of the videos that I put up, you feel free to take it, do whatever you want with it, make your own videos with it, edit it. You can stream the whole thing if you want. You can just you should be able to download it. If you don't know how to download somebody else's YouTube video, there's a great program called 4K Downloader, and with that program you can basically copy the link, paste it, and the program will just download the whole video for you. So then you can upload it. But you guys are free to use whatever I put out, whatever is on my channel. I want everybody to understand you can use it for whatever you want. You don't have to worry about anything from me. Any of the copyright stuff, obviously, you won't have to worry about too. There won't be any copyright strikes. Sometimes there might be ads or things like that running because of music. Usually with the YouTube, it's mostly music that gets flagged for copyright stuff, but it's not flagged to where you can't play the video. They just say this is not a copyright strike, blah blah blah, and there might be some ads or whatever. Whoever made the music might make money off of it or something like that, but we're not making money off of it. So just wanted to throw that out there. And let's see, so hopefully we'll get some updates on the documentary. We had a great member, Tracy. I want to thank Tracy because Tracy reached out to a guy named Gray Hughes, and I have to be honest, I don't really know that. I've heard this name. I know members, it's come up in the chat room about Gray Hughes. I don't really know that much about him, but I'm curious to see what he can do to help us to contribute to this case, and I'll be very interested to see how all of that goes. So again, it's just, getting as many people looking at the case, I think, is very important. The more people that do, it seems the more people have questions. So that's encouraging, very encouraging there too. And I think if there's anything else here that I need to discuss. Don't really think so. I'm about 90 pages into the edit, to the final edit, and what I do is I print it out and then I just basically edit page by page, just read through page by page, and then find little errors or little things that need to be adjusted or tweaked, whatever. These are small things. These aren't things that really contribute to the overall story. It's just, editorial things, I guess. But Friday night, 6 p.m. Pacific time, USA time, by the way. So that's been throwing a couple people off too, because we have people worldwide. So people in other countries, when I say, Friday 6 p.m. or West Coast time, when I say Friday 6 p.m. West Coast time at on January 17th, 2020, that date might be different for people in other countries. Well, it is different for people in other countries. So depending on your time zone, you might need to make some adjustments. So we've had people call in early, we've had people show up late, and because they got the dates wrong, because when it's Friday here, over in some other country, it could be Saturday. So make sure that you check your time zone and check all that good stuff, because I would love to have as many people call in and participate, or even participate in the chat room. I do think we're going to need someone dedicated to make sure that things in the chat room get covered, that any questions, comments, or concerns in the chat room are brought up live. So I'm hoping somebody will maybe volunteer for that as well. And we'll get a little PowerPoint going on. I'm still wrapping my head around it was item 40, item 41. The notepad, bright sun in my eyes. So the notepad in the office bedroom has really been bothering me. One of the great things about going back through my book is I'll find things and I'm like, that can't be right, and I'll go check the source just to fact check my own book, and that's fine too. And even after I put out this book, if there's things that I get wrong, if there's facts that I get wrong, I want to correct those. I'm not just gonna act like I know it and that's it. So I'm definitely open to that. I'm trying to do as much fact checking on my own as I possibly can, but there's only so much that I can do, and it seems like every time I go through the book I miss something. So we'll see what I miss this time. Hopefully not too much. But going back to item 40 and item 41, the notepad, it was like, okay, how does David's blood on one of the pages but not on page 30? Page 30 is the one where everything was written. Submit to Allah now, open the rise. So how is that? How is there one page? There's like 5 or 6 pages where there's blood on them. Blood fingerprints, by the way, not just blood. But, so that was like, wait a minute, okay, so somebody's flipping like through 5 or 6 pages to get to a certain page to write, submit to Allah, open the rise, blah, blah, blah. It's like almost like they were purposely going to that page, which does kind of lead me back to the theory that was put out there that open the rise, the most recent version, and submit to Allah now, that those were written at 2 separate times. Almost somebody was purposely going back to that same page, because there's pages before that, pages after that are both blank. So it's just really weird why they would be flipping through these pages and not just pick the first page. It's staged. It's a staged thing. But how does David's blood not get on, or his DNA, let me rephrase that. How does his DNA not get on all of the pages if it's him? Why is it just on some? And why is it not on the page where these writings took place? So that's still bothering me. And I know Bugs, you kind of helped me work out a little bit about how the whole DNA and the blood DNA works out. So I'm hoping we can make sure that we cover that as well. So thanks, Bugs. I really appreciate that. Yeah, just chatting really quick on my way to work here. I wanted to make sure I put something out, because I probably won't put anything out until Friday, until the live show. So I've really got to, if I can really do this right, if I can really finish editing this book, I'll be in really good shape by the time that that the artwork for the cover is done. Got a few things to follow up on. There are 2 very important things that I'm hoping to have ready by Friday. So I know I really don't like putting out teasers, things like that. But these 2 I'm gonna keep pretty close to the chest until it's ready. So I hope it's ready by Friday, because I really want these 2 things to be covered and brought to the light. And if they're not, if one of them is not ready by Friday, we'll probably still mention it, and we'll talk about the progress so far. Maybe one of the other things we could talk about is Robert Erickson, who is the guy who interviewed me for the documentary, the Slopumentary, A Gray State. So he was the one who came to my mom's house, not to my house, but to my mom's house. And I was interviewed by him. Seemed like a nice guy. You know, we chatted, we sent messages back and forth. So maybe we'll go through those. Maybe I'll play some of those, and we'll see what the dealio What's going on here? There's a Benz out in the middle of the street for some reason. That's always nice. These people with these big, huge, expensive cars, and they're broken down. I don't know. Nothing wrong with my Honda. I like my Honda. It's paid off. I don't have to worry about any bills, any payments, anything like that. Just the stupid car insurance, which is ridiculous anyways. Insurance, all insurance is pretty much a scam. I mean, unless they're gonna say, okay, you know, if you don't get into any wrecks, you know, if you don't have any problems, you should at least get some of that money back. All that money that you're putting into it, you should get some of that back. But whatever. That's a whole nother issue, obviously. I'm just really excited for this week. It is a tragedy. It is a very momentum that we are making and building, and it is continually building. And I knew it was going to be like this, a slow process, a very slow process. The Acuras too. Yeah, the Acuras too. I don't see too many Acuras on the road broken down. It's always these nice cars with the big rims too sometimes. So those ones drive me crazy. These guys get these big, huge 22-inch rims, and then because, you know, the rim is so big and there's not that much tire, the tires pop easily. It's ridiculous. It defeats the whole purpose. Anyways, don't be into a vanity, you know. Get a car that will get you to point A, from point A to point B. Just get that. That's all you need. Don't worry about status and having the nicest car and all that. Anyways, almost here to my destination, so I'll stay on a few more minutes, see if there's anything here. It's like we got 5 people here, so I want to say hi to everybody. Ellie, Bugs, anyone else that I missed, thank you all for listening in to my ramblings, to my monotone voice as I was talking with my wife last night. My voice is a very monotone voice most of the time. It's Monday morning in California. Another beautiful day in the Bay. Stay away from San Francisco as much as possible, if you can. So, again, just wrapping up, Friday will be the day. 5 years since the bodies were found. 5 years since we were told to stop looking at the case and don't worry about it. Go about your business, enjoy life, everything's good. Child gets her arm ripped off, but don't worry about it. It's fine. Life is good. It's ridiculous. It really is. So, I think that'll about do it for me here. We have, we still have a lot to go through, a lot to do, but I'm hoping with some help from other people that we'll just keep moving forward. As long as we're not moving backwards, and as long as we're not just staying still. I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges, because we are 5 years in, and it's so sometimes it's very interesting, and people that have never heard of this case, and you have to remember there are a lot of people out there who've never heard about this case ever at all. Have no idea what we're talking about. Who's David Crowley? Why are you making so many videos about David Crowley? Is he Alistair's grandson or something? And you get all that, and you know that's fine. David got those questions too. It's a valid question, of course. They have the same name, same last name. It's not out of the ordinary that that there wouldn't be some tie, some connection. It's possible. It's always possible. Is it relevant? I'm not sure. So under the paranormal stuff, I guess that's where we'll kind of get into all that and figure out what is relevant and what is not. So I want to say hi to Nails with Hope. Hey, I was late, but been listening. Hi, everyone. Love you. We all love you, too. Love all the replays. I've been catching up and spreading the word. Thank you very much. And that's all that we can really ask. I couldn't ask for anything more from people, just to kind of help us Let me see if I can set this here to kind of help us spread the word and to get the word out, to keep hope alive, keep truth alive, people. So with that, I think I will go ahead and let me just see. Hey Jassy, thanks for joining us as well here. And I'm just scrolling through. Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of things planned, a lot of things that we still need to do, a lot of things that we still need to talk about. But I think overall, we've done a great job. All of you listening, all of you helping out, have done a great job of helping us keep this case going. We couldn't have done it without everybody. We would still be trying, but I don't think we would be as far along as we are now. Hopefully we can get Dan and Catherine, Sophia, and maybe some other people too to join in the live call. I think that would be awesome. I would really like that, even if they can only join for a certain time period, couple minutes, whatever it is. But I know Dan Hinnon is still on Eternal Affairs Radio, still doing work over there and putting out shows and putting out really good stuff. So make sure that you guys go and check that out too. He doesn't talk about it that much because he tries to keep it separate from the Crowley case. So, but if you guys do get a chance, if you go to Dan Hinnon's YouTube channel, you can definitely check out all that. And it's a great way to just get caught up on the big things of the week. And he's really good at covering that. He's very articulate with it. He wrote the foreword to my book, so I'm looking forward to the foreword. And who knows, maybe I'll read the foreword Friday. There's a lot of stuff that we could do. I also want to say that we are starting Friday. Any future conference calls or any future live shows that we do, they will be done on Fridays from now on. So tried Thursday, thought it was going to work out. Friday is definitely better. Friday we can go longer too, I guess, for anything, because I don't have to work on Saturday. So there's always that. But so just going forward, kind of make that a mental note. I have not put out the reminder for the YouTube video yet. I'll try to do that today if I can and put that out. But this is kind of what I've been going through. I'm probably about what am I? I'm page 93 here of just finding little edits. All of these pages that you see, I don't know if you can see, probably can't see that too well or not, but any page with the little marker means there's something there that needs to be adjusted or changed. But this has the foreword by Dan Hinnon. So it's about, how many pages is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. The font, I think I'm going to change the font in it. I try to be a little more creative than I probably should have with the font. So I will probably change the font back to Times Roman numeral, whatever, the standard that I have. But this is it, in the final throes here. And then hopefully I will get an audio version by the summer, because I'm working on having an audio version of my 9/11 book made right now. So depending on how that goes, whatever I learn from that, then I'll use that knowledge. And it's about, I think it's about like $400 is what it's going to cost me to get that done. So I'm curious. I'm very curious to see how that turns out. I've listened to some of it, and it came out really well. The narrator that I hired for the audiobook, which will be on audible.com and iTunes, is really good. So very patient and actually worked with me, lowered his price. So I'm very grateful for that as well. So right now I'm on the editing of 21 questions for Detective Gummert. That's where I am. I've got probably about another 100 pages here to go. So not that much, probably about halfway through with this editing. And hopefully I can get that done by the time that the guy who's working on the book cover can give me something that I can look at. But So hopefully, maybe even Friday, maybe I'll have the front cover that I can start showing people too as well. We'll see. I don't know. Sometimes it's like, man, is there anything else that I could cover? I mean, I feel like I've covered everything. But then other times it's like, yeah, Okay, Jassy says, Friday is great, then I have time to get my sleep on Saturday. Nice. Okay, cool. Now remember, if you're in a different time zone, if you're in a different country, when I say Friday, for you, that's a different day, right? So, just throwing that out there. We need a time zone converter thing or something like that. But I'm very, very curious with these developments that I don't really want to talk about yet, but I hope something comes out of them. I know with one of them, both of them actually, something will come out of them. I just hope it's something good, something positive, something that helps us get further to the truth. But other than that, I think it's okay for me to wrap this up here. Yeah, the last chapter, which is the Gray Shame, was probably one of the most challenging chapters ever. But this Gray Hughes guy, I hope something good comes out of that, and maybe we can even use it in Christian Coffin's documentary series that he's working on right now. I think that would be very valuable. So we'll see how far we get. We'll see how everything goes. And then Wednesday, hopefully, I can talk with Eric Spitfire about. He had talked about, he does a podcast every Wednesday, once a week. So he was going to designate us to have our own slot for the David Crowley case, basically, to have our own podcast. And so then we would do it once a month. We would have a 2-hour podcast on Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. We'll see how that works out. We'll see what the plan is with that. So it takes a little bit off of him, so he doesn't have to do a show every Wednesday. And then it's good for us because now we have more reach, more exposure. Because over there, a lot of people have not heard about this case. They don't know about David Crowley. And I think it was kind of, what happens with a lot of these cases is they start out and just big hype for a couple days. Everybody's sick of it by day 10, and then you never hear about the case ever again until a couple years later. So we're determined not to let that happen with this case as much as possible. That's why you'll see the replays, the continual replays of things that you've already seen, that you've already watched, that you've already heard, that you've already read. And maybe sometimes there'll be some things in there that are new to you, that you have not seen, that you're like, oh yeah. For me, I put those on while I'm working on the book. It really helps me. And it just, keeps some of this stuff fresh into my mind. So that's one of the biggest things there. I hope you have a blessed day too. Hope everybody does. And I just want to thank everybody once again who's in the chat room right now. I really appreciate that. And let's have a great week, So we need some more ideas. If you think of any ideas of what we should make sure that we cover on Friday, I think a little summary of the whole case. Just, what happened, what the police found. I don't know. It's just like you almost get to the point where, well, you can't leave this out, you can't leave that out, and pretty soon it's like you can't leave anything out, So I don't know. That's one of the downfalls of this, I guess. Is how do you really condense this story into a couple of paragraphs? I don't know. Maybe you can. I've found it hard. So it's like, well, no, you gotta mention this, you gotta mention that. But knowing that, thinking about all that stuff, when the time is right, then you'll be able to talk with somebody about this case. And I'm curious to hear the success stories that all of you have had talking with people. What really grabbed them? somebody new to this case, what are the things that they go, oh, that's odd, and kind of made them ask more questions? And what are the things that kind of turned them off, that made them roll their eyes and like, okay, that's it, I'm done? Usually for me, it's the whole government thing, right? Because for some reason, because I researched September 11th, because I researched JFK, all of a sudden I believe the government did everything. Apparently, to some people. Some of them are sincere, and others, I think are just having fun. Some just whatever, they don't care. Some are just trying to basically smear you, but so I don't really go into the whole government thing that much, because first of all, it is not one of the bigger uh, theories that I take seriously. It has to be taken seriously, and it is a possibility. You have to go there, just because of what he was doing, what he was talking about, because he was in the military. You do have to kind of go there. What the script was about, what the project was, what it was focused on. How can you not? How can you just roll it off? So I think there was a big campaign, a big discrediting campaign when this case first happened, that they wanted to push out the wildest, crazy theories so that people would get turned off, so that they would not pay attention to the facts, to the documents, to the images, right? They made it all about these crazy conspiracy theories and these crazy conspiracy theorists. Hey, Walter, how's it going? Walter says it was not just the government. Another government had input to enter the Middle East. That's true. That's true. And so, how does this all tie in to the Middle East? How does it tie into where David served? He served in Afghanistan. He served in Iraq first. I mean, he was in Iraq, and just during that time, that was some of the craziest times. 2005, I think, is when the British Army got caught trying to stage a false flag in Iraq. I think that was 2005. It could have been 2006. I'll have to go back and check. But basically, some British soldiers got caught posing as terrorists, and with bombs or something like that. And they got caught. They were put in jail by the Iraqi forces, the local Iraqi forces, to be tried, etc., etc. And then all of a sudden, the British Army comes in and busts out these two soldiers and takes them out. Not kills them, but takes them out of the prison, and they go wherever. But it showed the depths of the false flags that were happening inside of Iraq. When you have people, what they call a recon by fire, where they're purposely shooting at people so that people will shoot back. And once they shoot back, then they can go and do some devastating harm and feel justified about it. See, Walter says, David had info of world operations that he was trying to reveal in his movie Gray State, I believe. Real way that it was happening and why. Yeah, I mean, he would know, right? He was there, so it's hard to discredit that person. It'd be easier to just credit the actors and the friends all involved in it, but it'd be very hard to discredit David, somebody who was over there. How are you going to tell him these things didn't happen? He was there. You weren't. Stuff like that. So, yeah, I get that. He was a credible person. He would have been a credible source, and he would have been somebody that Hollywood would have had to have taken seriously, whether they liked it or whether they didn't. The Hollywood reaction, I think, to this case, and the overall reaction was very surprising to me, very surprising. The reaction to A Gray State, to Eric Nelson's sloppumentary, was not surprising. I totally expected that documentary to fail. The only thing that surprised me about Eric Nelson's film is that it brought people into the Justice for David Crowley and Family group. I was not expecting that. It really wasn't. So that was a good thing. That was 2017. I always get those dates and everything mixed up, because it was a lot of like, haha, you guys are gonna you know, this movie is going to tell the real story, and you guys are going to look like fools and blah blah blah. Man, it was quite the opposite. I think quite the opposite. Only the foolish will look like fools, and that's just par for the course, I suppose. So sorry, trying to move it out of the sun. Last time when I kept my phone kind of in the sun, all of a sudden my phone decided it was going to shut off on its own. So I'm trying to avoid that this time because I still got a few more minutes here. Actually, I should probably wrap this up. But Friday, and Walter, if I was going to ask you too, I'll be reaching out to you. If Walter, if you want to join us Friday, I would love to have you on. Please consider joining us this Friday, 6 p.m. West Coast time. We will be going over everything David Crowley, because it's been 5 years since the bodies were found. Awesome. All right, Walter, I'm going to put you down for that. And anybody else in the chat, anybody else here, if you would like to be part of that, please let me know if you would like to call in. There are 2 ways to call in. There's, you know, you pick up the phone, dial the number, or you can actually go online through your headset on your computer. You can basically call in that way too. Or you can do what we're doing right now, and you can just chat, join the live chat. We'll have somebody, hopefully somebody will help me. They will volunteer for it to make sure that any comments, anything in the chat that we cover, that we don't gloss over, because once the chat really gets rolling, it's hard to go back and be focused and to cover what is being talked about in the chat room. So God bless you all. Thank you all for being justice for David Crowley and family.